all you herbalists and other natural healers came to this already suitably equipped in so very many ways. Very likely, you came to this mission endowed with inordinately compelling compassion and deep empathy, with excited interests and curiosity, with an unusual degree of sensitivity, a sense of the mysterious or mystical, and a personal rapport with the plants themselves. You brought to the table an important vision of a healthier world, and you also brought the drive to help with the healing of bodies and spirits, cultures, and ecosystems. But with that said, there's always more that we could add to the package to up-level our practices and improve our lives. We become both more whole and wholly effective through an active balancing, the balancing of that which comes most natural with those things that we have to struggle to learn, of what we find comfortable and what challenges us. Please take a minute to like this episode, to share its link on your social, and leave your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think herbalists could use more of? Now, many outside of our field will claim that what folk healers of any kind are needing is more acceptability and normality, presentability and uniformity, licensing and regulation. But no, we're not buying it. We could use an ever more wise and informed practice, however, by adding to our repertoire and expanding materia medica, adding new useful and testable skills, a continually growing understanding of botany and physiology, more familiarity with historic practices and with traditional and indigenous perspectives. We could use a wider variety of approaches and methods, along with added personal experience for sure. And, while we're being practical about it, nearly all of us could use more income, couldn't we? We might happily do the work for free since we love plants and healing so much. But that's all the more reason that you should have your needs met and your efforts suitably rewarded. Now, few would argue against any of these things. But there's other stuff that can be harder for us to accept, to value, to incorporate, or to apply. Things such as a genuine belief in ourselves, belief in the validity of our healers' values, and in the specific caring paths that we each walk. Things such as increased adaptation and experimentation, increased critical thinking, and improved assessments of not only our clients' health, but assessments of our own life choices, systems, and methods. We could use well-tuned bullshit detectors, frankly, so that we know what's most foolish or most real and authentic. We could use more judgment and more decisiveness when it comes to making the most important choices. More freedom and more agency. We could use more self-empowerment across the board rather than sticking to what is customary, directed, approved, legalized, or dictated by some so-called authority. We could benefit from greater risk-taking, especially when it comes to picking a different role or career, when it comes to starting a clinic or an apothecary, or launching some other wonderful, if highly uncertain, enterprise. The most unintrusive and accommodating of our kind could arguably use an injection of oomph and steel, maybe even a tad bit of pushiness, sauciness, or attitude to round out the package. Anyone doing good things that greatly matter could use more commitment, more promises of what we're going to do, and more oaths and pledges about how we do it. We then need more follow-through. fulfilling those promises and keeping our pledges no matter what the difficulties, challenges, or amount of focus and energy that's going to be required. We could use more persistence and determination if we're going to pull that off. This goes hand in hand with building up more courage to be our authentic selves, the courage to choose herbalism over more lucrative careers, the courage to speak truth aloud or to remedy injustices and resist oppression. For this reason, we could use some visible animal ferocity in defense of the most vulnerable people, defense of endangered species and threatened habitat, the defense of our freedoms and our rights with claws out. Looking at social media makes me think that herbalism in general would be a hell of a lot better off with the reintroduction of a tension-relieving sense of irony, and even some outlandishness and political inappropriateness. For the most part, we could use more levity and laughter, more frivolity and fun. We could use more taking of credit and accepting of thanks, more welcoming of the help and the support of others wishing to give it. More restorative rest, more deserved relaxation, and more nurturing self-care. I'd like to see all of you experiencing added levels of satisfaction, given how much heart, time, and effort gets put into your loving healer's work. And finally, we could surely use some more time out in nature and communing with the plants themselves. More wild and unashamed pleasures, more snuggles and tickles, more ungoverned ecstasy and intense elation, more focused savoring of every single mortal moment, and more spirit-soaring celebration.